Side. Electric Miss was back to the inner and Stellar Witness still running on. Headley's Lady, Electric Miss trying to come through on the inside. Bachelor Baron, Dreams and Schemes and Stellar Witness, and Rhoda is emerging. I'll tell you what, it's emerging quickly. Rhoda on the outside went bang! Home for the first at Swan Hill. Rhoda by a length to Electric Miss. Third, Stellar Witness.
Welcome to ATB-TV. I'm Darren Dance here with Peter Morganti as we try and line up for both screens. Pete, it's a bit of a juggling act here.
It's a little bit better format than the last few weeks, and Beck's actually onto it. She's found a, a phone holder, and the young bloke's found a tripod, so they reckon Father's Day might be all right this weekend.
Well, if you can see how we're setting this up with the camera on the tripod, the phone hanging off a
coat hanger,
and we're trying to line up two screens. Technology.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Doing the job.
Beck was laughing at me this morning, but anyway.
Here we are at, well, you probably can't see the background, but the Bland Footy Oval, which is obviously Bland are not in the finals because we noticed all the dirt's been taken off the centre, and the
pitch is looking
the Malfoy cricket pitch has been exposed. So obviously Bland are not participating in the finals, Pete.
Don't look like they're hosting a final either. There's not much activity around, but we have got a magnificent day, Darren.
Yes, well, let's go through last week's runners, Pete. I think there was just the three.
Yeah, we had no joy. We had no joy early, but we had joy late. We're on the board.
Some joy, yep.
I went to the Valley. We had Connery down there in a mile race. He ran well, just sort of all come unstuck probably at the start and ended up back on the fence. And look, he rode the horse well from there, but sort of last 100 had nowhere to go.
Pretty hard to win at the Valley when you fall back the fence, Pete.
It is. You need Damien Oliver's magic wand, and horse beaten 2.7 and probably untested the last 50 to 70 metres.
Yeah.
Could have run a place with the right luck.
Yeah, you need a lot of luck at the Valley, as you know. So to miss the start slow away, drag back to the fence, and then praying for an opening, it doesn't happen.
No.
Goes to the line untested, beaten 2.7. Good run. Yep. Archie's done a terrific job with his horse. He's not without his issues, and credit to the whole team there. And just a bit unlucky on the day, but there'll be another race for him in a couple of weeks.
There's a similar race Saturday week, actually.
At the Valley?
Yeah, at the Valley. Mile, same benchmark. So it's just a matter of how the horse comes through that run, and it sounds like he's all good, so we'll see what happens this time next week. The same day up at Seymour, we had Tolpark kick off her prep. Look, basically a fitness run, and that's what it turned out to be. Got a long way back and got tired late. But the fact she had to make up so much ground to even get into the race. Yeah, well, she's a filly resuming off an injury. She spent a lot of time out. I think last prep she had 4 seconds in a row, Pete. Yep. She's a 1,600 metre horse. She was resuming over 1,200. Kind of horse that just needs to get going and kick off, and it's probably not going to be ready till she's fourth up. Mile.
And, we've just got to go through those processes because unfortunately these trials that they run over 800, they don't get a lot out of them.
No.
They're invariably on heavy tracks. They invariably go along at a steady clip and then run home the last 400. And we just elected to take them to the races and get them fit that way. It just seems to work better. So we got everything we wanted to get out of that run, and she's one to follow.
Yep, for sure. People watching live wouldn't have seen it, but when the video comes out or the recording, you would have seen Rhoda at the start of it. That was an impressive little unexpected win for some at Swan Hill on Monday, ridden by Craig Robertson.
I hear with interest that you've got enough money to buy a new tripod and a phone holder, so the 51's into 750. Obviously you had a slice of that.
$1 each way. Look what happened. It picked up $40. Anyway, it was a great result and it was a promising win. I don't care even if it's a Swan Hill maiden or where it is. He come from last.
Race 1, they normally lead, but I know Archie had a runner in there and he was pretty disappointed it got beat. It was favourite and they thought it would just win.
Yep.
And I think Hayes might have had one short as well. And our horse was last under the bat before the corner.
Yeah.
Would have been in Betfair in the run, would have been at least $121 at the 400.
Probably triple figures.
And then he just sort of slapped him and he sort of worked into it and just won by a length.
Running away.
And sort of got to the front and half pulled up or just green as grass. It's only his second career start, this horse. He's a horse we bred by not a single doubt out of a good mare we raced called More Bubbly, a More Than Ready mare.
Yep.
He's the first foal from that mare, and Shay Eden actually bought him at the sales from us, and we elected to the breeders elected to just keep a little percentage in him each, and they've been very patient because we had him up and going early, and he trialled really badly at Cranbourne one day, and he strained both hamstrings, and I thought we were in real trouble, Pete. And anyway, Shay put him out for, I don't know, probably 4 months, and gave him all that. Well, I think the vet said 3, so he gave him 4, and he's got him back going good, and he hasn't lost faith in the horse. And obviously, a few of the owners might be away on holidays after that little collect they got on Monday. They all know who they are, and we'll look forward to that horse. So no, it was a very good win. It's really good for the breeders when they stay in and they get a winner. They get great excitement out of it, and just good to see a well-bred horse do that.
I keep thinking back to Benny Allen, who was tipping it to us prior to sale. So he obviously
Sale, he was just...
well, the barrier and 3 wide, the trip, you know.
And no blinkers.
No, and I think Benny must have felt something under the motor there early enough to be even suggesting that he could win on it. And
most riders, when they say they like a horse, they're not far wrong.
No.
It doesn't mean to say they'll just go out and win next start, but in the longer term, they'll be proven right, won't they?
Well, I think Robertson said he had a horse that just, I think his wording was, gave him a couple, come on, you have to get fair dinkum. And then all of a sudden he worked through his gears, which I think is a good sign, that he kept picking up the longer he was in a straight line. So
well, I hope he doesn't race the same way his mother did.
Oh, remember that race at Darwin?
She used to be 20 links last, and then just, I don't know, just a little bit like Yogi, just kick into gear and fly down the outside, and some days she'd win and some days she'd get beat. But
someone made that comment on social media, actually, that was Yogi-like finish. So
yeah, well, let's hope he's half as good as Yogi.
Yeah. Anyway, that kicked us off.
Congratulations to all those owners. We needed that winner.
Yeah.
Not that the horse has been running badly, but we've just been struggling to get one over the line in first place for various reasons. A lot of them track related, fitness levels at this time of year. I think in Victoria it's so wet. We've really, the trainers have struggled to get them up and going.
Well, any continuity is
and synthetic racing, you know, has made it difficult. So we've got a week of 20 degrees coming up, Pete, and hopefully now these tracks can dry out back. Not necessarily good, but even back to, you know, dead to slow will certainly help us. And I just feel that maybe a lot of our spring horses, not just ours, but a lot of the Victorian spring horses, are probably going to be a run behind given how cold and wet it's been.
Yeah, that was mentioned. We spoke about it, and it was actually mentioned on RSN how the Sydney horses will come down here and maybe just be that half to 3/4 of a run ahead because of the weather they've had.
Well, I don't reckon RSN will be able to figure that out themselves. They must watch ATB-TV.
Well, the only reason they would have gleaned that information, Darren, I've got no doubt.
Captain Obvious, Darren Dance.
Righto, we move on. So we had the 3 runners for a win.
Where are we going next, Pete?
Saturday. We'll be split in our directions. I presume you're going to Caulfield for our 2 runners, which are Mr. Moneybags, who as first emergency now has a run in a 1400, which we have identified to the trainers all along. We didn't want to go back to Caulfield, but it fits in with his program, which...
so this is a run he has to have?
Well, basically, he's drawn 17. We can't get the barriers we don't want, but look, for this instance, he just has to go around.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Race programming is not always ideal for us, so we've got races that we want to win later in the spring that we think we can win, and this horse has to go around tomorrow at Caulfield over 1400 from a wide gate. Would have been nice if we drew 6 or 7. We could be 4 lengths closer probably, but look, he's going to be back. He's going to probably end up wide, but at the end of the day, the horse is going well. Jockey was pretty pleased with his last run. Mightn't look that good on paper, but he wasn't beaten that far by some pretty handy horses.
5 lengths in a sprint.
So, you know, I think he won't disgrace himself, but this will bring him right up to where we want him so he can get to the mile.
Bo Mertens has stayed on. Actually, I just flicked onto the tab.com site to see what price he was. He was $51, but $22 for the place.
I saw that.
It seems odd, doesn't it? Normally it's about 1/4 of the win price.
I thought that might have been an error when I first looked at it.
Yeah, and it's still there.
But I still couldn't take it.
No, it's a tease, isn't it? It's just a tease. When you think you're a chance, you'll never get those odds.
No, I'm not taking $22 a place on Mr. Moneybags at Caulfield on Saturday.
The other one that is a better price, is a big price, but more relative to her chances, is Crack the Code at the Cochrane. $6 the place.
Well, I was a bit surprised by this Crack the Code being $26, $6 a place. I know it's a pretty good field.
Really good field,
The favourite, Pippi, was around $2.80 last time I looked. Now, It won at Caulfield, it led all the way, and it's got a high cruising speed, so it'll put pace into it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the quality of that race against this race.
No.
I think it's unders. I definitely think Crack the Code's overs. I think they've labelled her already as, you know, not as good as everyone thought. My argument would be, we run in the cock room and we find out, because first up she was brilliant at Flemington.
Yeah.
And the only reason she got beat there was she couldn't get through the wall of horses, and he had to handlebar left down hard.
Yeah, really hard, yeah.
And sort of go sideways when they were, you needed to be going straight. And she still ran really well, and they ran the quickest last 400 of the day. And that time was outstanding. I think it was 32 something.
Yeah.
Now last start, my theory is the track, we'd had a lot of rain and it had stopped raining. The track was still rain affected, but it was drying, it was gluggy, it was loose on top.
Yeah.
And she never travelled, Pete. Like on the corner,
she couldn't
when
get
he
around.
went for her, it looked like her wheels were spinning, and he reported that. So
especially around the bend as opposed to down the straight line.
And then probably her last 50 was the best.
Yeah.
Now my theory, and I could be right or wrong here, is just put a line through that, because she's had 3 goes on those slow, rough surfaces, and she's never run a place. Now outside those 3 runs, she's either run or placed.
Yeah.
So therefore,
and at Caulfield too.
Therefore, I had to take the $6, Pete. Wasn't brave enough to take the 26,
and if you
but I was brave enough to take the 6.
Listen to the track manager this morning, it could get to a good 3.
It's a perfect surface.
Yep.
They tell me this morning it's a beautiful surface, very even, very fair. It's come on really well, so they're delighted at the track with that surface.
Yep.
The reports during the week was she worked outstanding. So here we go. No excuses Saturday. Whatever she does, she does. Wherever she finishes, that's her.
Jockey Asia won too, Darren.
Who's the jock?
Michael Walker. You want to give your 6s back?
I might retract those comments.
He owes you one.
Owes me one.
Was that Caulfield
He
too?
can never pay me back what he cost me.
But no, I suppose. Group
What was
one.
the horse?
Crackerjack King. We just seen a few of those go through the system, Darren, just to remind you.
Yeah, I won't get over that. Ever.
Yeah, and just speaking, Pippi will set a pace. Hawks' thing, which is Sylvia's mother's drawn 1. It's probably going to trail not far behind, and I think we're the next line of runners. So, you know, we run in that first 4 or 5 off a good speed.
I reckon we'll be midfield.
Yep.
And then it's just going to be a question of what happens up front, whether they stack them up and sprint, or whether it's a genuine one-run race. But look, we run this race years ago with a mare called Libidinius, and she's just an honest, genuine filly, a bit like this one. And I just think, you know, if she doesn't run top 5, I'll be disappointed, and I'll be very wrong in my assessment.
And you really have to reassess where we go with her
That's
after
it.
that. No questions, Aaron, but there is people watching.
Oh,
We've
that's
got at
good
least
to know.
4 viewers.
That's good to know, Pete.
So yeah, there we go. Just back to Mr. Moneybags. We've got a runner's first emergency. Do you realise the second and third emergencies are the first 2 favourites of the race?
I saw that.
Any phone calls to scratch?
No.
10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand?
Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But I did look at that the emergencies were favourites. So it just shows you at this time of year how hard it is to get a run in the races you want to run in.
And I think too, the progressive horses trying to sneak in, no weight. It's a little bit like being good to your mother, trying to win the Group 1 based on fitness, opposed to probably the better horses that aren't as fit. So yeah, anyway, we're holding a couple out there.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some benefit to keeping those 2 out.
Yeah, certainly is.
Anyway, look, I think Moneybags, he won't disappoint. I think both horses are sort of top 6 chances. If they don't, I think we'll be a little bit concerned.
Is that why we're 51s a win and we're holding them out 22 the places if they do get a run?
Well, you would think once they scratch in the morning, that whole market's got to get carved up, doesn't it?
It's huge, isn't it? You're talking a 280 pop and a 420 pop.
So the market's got to get carved up.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. Warrant and a
Just before we go on, you're the punting expert, right? You understand odds better than anyone. So if the favourites are scratched, are there deductions for those in the field?
Well,
because normally there's deductions if one in the field gets scratched. So you can't take the fix because you get carved up. So what happens when the emergencies are scratched? Do they take deductions?
This betting's been up for more than 24 hours, so they're actually holding bets weighted on that market. So
do you think there'll be deductions?
Well, it's got to be huge. And look, if I'm a punter, there's no way I'd have a bet on that race
after the scratches. Because I think he'll come into $10 a place, won't he?
What you're gonna? Well, you'd have to. Yeah, and the thing is, you're going to get horses that are going to be, they're going to drift anyway.
Yeah.
So if you take the unders now, take the odds now, and then get the deductions, and they're probably going to drift anyway, you're just better off waiting, because how often do we see this scenario? Not very often, where the favourite's a second and third emergency. So
someone out there will know the answer to that. Probably smarter than us.
no one here.
No one here.
No one here. Throw out the comments.
Right, so that's... you're going to Warragul.
Well, he was talking about emergency again. We are second emergency. We've already had
one out.
One out. This is Periscope we're talking about. 1,800 metres. It's a good fall. They're two big ticks, the distance
Blinkers
and the track. Blinkers on, and he's trialled up and worked in them nicely. Obviously, we haven't run since Echuca, where he pulled up with
lame
issues,
which
have been fixed. Flying the horse, trialled really well at stall. I think we mentioned that last week. We just need one to scratch, which...
Will it happen?
Crossed. Well, a couple of the favourite runners and a couple of horses travelling from Cranbourne have drawn the outside gates. We're just hoping they think it's a long way to go and be 5 wide.
Haven't scratched yet.
Haven't scratched.
But they might need to run for their future plans.
Well, that's exactly the same.
It'd be a shame if he didn't get in that race, because I think he's a genuine each way chance.
I think so. Looking at the field,
he's going to be better after this run. But I think, he's a nice horse. Still got that form around Bow and Declare, which I see is in the Melbourne Cup entries.
Yeah.
So
here we are at Warragul, still trying to win.
Win a maiden, yeah.
Isn't it?
But he's had his issues.
Yeah, but Paul's
best,
really happy with him. He was concerned after that trial, but he's bounced back, galloped twice really well since. I spoke to Holly, his partner, who was on him, and said he feels like he's heading in the right direction now. So
yeah, I think they said the same thing before we went to Echuca.
Yeah, well, I think they're more confident now.
Let's hope he gets the run.
Here's another interesting proposition. When the first markets go up, he's going to be as emergency. What price is he?
30 to 1.
He could be that odds.
He wouldn't be?
I wouldn't have thought.
After running nowhere at Echuca?
Well, if they go back 5 runs, I see Vow and Declare beating ahead.
They wouldn't scroll back that far unless you tell them.
But the thing is, and then he gets into the field, he's probably going to be quarter of those odds. So
I reckon if he makes the field, there'll be an avalanche of money for him late.
From?
You.
Anyway,
I don't reckon Paul. I reckon Paul doesn't want to bet.
Paul likes a bet.
He's trying to save up for a new truck.
He's actually had 2 in the field and scratched one of his, and already got rolled by the owners because he thought they were scratching for Periscope. But the horse actually galloped about 10 minutes after the acceptances and pulled up stall. So he's got another one in it, but I don't know if he'd be game to scratch it.
Well, it's a tough job when you've got
multiple
maidens.
Yeah, that's it.
We've been there. We've had 2 in the race. It's not ideal.
No, and ran first and second.
It's not ideal.
Yeah. Happened to be in the ownership of the second one.
That'd be right.
Sunday, Father's Day, Darren. So we'll just no racing. So
no racing.
Not for us. There is racing.
Right.
Monday, I'll head up the road to Benalla.
What happens in the Morganti family of Father's Day? Like, are you worried? Do you get nervous?
No, I don't get any unexpected mail, Darren.
What about knocks on the door from random kids? Hi, Dad.
That'd be random now.
Wouldn't I? You should be able to dial a child. Just send about 10 kids around.
If another
hello, Daddy.
Another one walked into my life now, I think I'd just fall over the fence and put the feet in the air and give up.
If you think you look like this bloke and you're out there and you're about 12.
You poor child. 12? No. That would be interfering into my relationship now. I'd be thinking 30 years ago.
If any owners can spot any Morganti lookalikes in their district, we'd like to see photos.
Definitely not.
Anyway, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Play life safe.
So will you have lunch?
Go to Warwick to be on, then slip back, and the kids will be at her mum and dad's at Bendigo, so I'll just slip across there and get bombarded in the morning by a tripod and a coat hanger for the setup.
It'll be a gold-plated coat hanger. Anyway, it's good.
Monday, as I said, I'll trot up the road to Benalla. We've got the women's racing filly, French Fizz.
That's a long way, Pete.
Yeah, it's all right. Drive up and get a winner.
We're going there. Well, we're going to Benalla because we're looking for good surfaces.
And the right type of race, which is a fillies and mares 1100. Stable admitted they were wrong going to the 1000 with this filly. She always gives the impression that she's a quick filly, but she's not so quick. She's just a hard on the steel filly, which just wants, whether it's 11, 12, she just doesn't settle. Yeah,
very aggressive.
They took her to Caulfield for a few days and galloped it down there, and
just change it up a bit.
Yeah, David Eustace says well, in his words, I don't think we can get her any better.
Okay.
Now, whether that means winning or not, I couldn't get him to say that, but he said there's a win in her.
So we're 3 runs in?
4th.
This will be 4th.
She's
She won
got
6th up last time.
5th, 4th, 4th. Yeah. Well, that's how long it took Weary to get her right. And look,
Just to get that edge off her, isn't it?
Weary had her over 12 and 1300 early in the prep, so I think he worked it out that, you know, as much as she pulls hard, she's not as if she's just a speed horse. So if she can get her manners right, she's drawn 5, Jai McNeil on, field at 12, 1100 against her own sex.
You know you're in spring when you see these blokes like Jai McNeil going to Benalla on a Monday.
Well, and for those stables.
Isn't it?
And for those stables. Because there's bigger fish to fry.
Yeah,
hopefully.
they're all looking for a way
Well,
in. They're looking for a way in.
And if they get a job done, well, yeah. So,
another ride.
but that's to no disadvantage to us having Jai on. So I don't know what happened to Harry. Got the boot.
He mightn't be riding
He
there.
might be there. No. So very hopeful with her. Tuesday maybe. Now we did send out something to the owners that Serious Deal might have went to Bendigo Wednesday week. But what's popped up, and Matt threw the nomination is a nomination capacity. Well, the capacity field could be 12 because there's only 12 noms for a 2100 metre race at Ballarat on Tuesday.
Right.
And it's Super Vobis.
Well, there might only be 10 runners. I mean, I'm not a fan
I'm
of
sure
some-
he'll accept and see,
syndicated.
but I just now I could see the merit in going to the Bendigo one, but gee, I can see a lot.
But isn't it a midweek
it's
city?
a midweek city.
That'd be way too strong
Well,
at this point, wouldn't it?
sometimes you just don't know this time of year.
I know we get on good surface and a big track, but
So there's the only 2400 metre horses around now, the ones that have been in the winter and been going for ages. So if you go to Ballarat in 10 days' time, there's a Swan Hill. Like that's where I think it fits in nicely. You can.
well, I think at this stage we just want to win a race with this horse, and he probably needs to go out for a break and mature a bit.
Yep.
Because he's by done deal. Like High Chaparral line, they get better with age. I don't think they're that good early, but at this stage he's hard fit. All the money's been tipped in. We just need to win a maiden, and then get him out and let him have a bit of time.
He reminds me of Galileo's Pearl.
Yeah.
Remember he took ages to win, and then I think he won 3 in a row. Like
Yeah, when they're ready, they're ready, and I just don't feel this horse is ready. But
Yep.
it'd be nice just to win a race to put some money back in the accounts of the owners.
yeah, he's just running those races that are just teasing at the moment. Wednesday we spoke about Rotorua early.
So Rotorua, Sandown.
Yeah, 1300 metre benchmark 64. Probably
Looks a good race for him.
9 days. I presume he comes through Swan Hill, right? They go there.
They said he pulled up good.
Yep. Gee, Sandown, the big straight, and an extra 100 metres.
Is that Lakeside or Hillside?
I couldn't tell you.
It'd want to be Hillside.
Hillside, very much like.
Lakeside's leaderish.
Hillside's sort of more like Swan Hill.
Very hard to win your 64 straight off a maiden unless you're a good horse.
Well,
But he looks above average.
the only thing is this time of year and what you might strike.
Well, that's what they might be thinking about us.
Could be too. Anyway, look,
Anyway, we'll find out.
He-
I
he's-
know
I
a few
think-
owners are going to be there.
horse on the rise.
We'd like to think so.
I don't
He's
think
just got to do it again.
you don't see too many win like he did at Swan Hill.
Well, you know Swan Hill.
I've seen some good horses win
They
there.
normally lead, don't they? It's very hard to come from last. at Swan
Early,
Hill.
you can. It just depends.
I don't want to wrap him up too much, Pete,
No,
because I want to see him do it again.
we won't get 50s.
We.
It is.
What do you mean we?
They won't get 50s.
I got
in.
nothing. I didn't even back it.
Yeah,
Not that he told me to run well and it improved, but geez, how could you back it off that sale run? Not that I'm
I
a punter.
see merit in a place bet, but I just couldn't. Well, look,
You fell asleep.
no, I didn't fall asleep. I was just happy that it backed up what I
Yeah,
thought.
I was happy
anyway.
for the owners anyway.
Yeah, so
So
5
who's your best?
out of that lot. I
Geez, don't say it with
I
confidence.
like your theory about crack the code for the place, but look,
If you're going to have one bet
if French Fizz is going to win a race,
and you needed the money for the mortgage,
geez, that's put the pressure on a little filly that's won 1 from 10, isn't it?
so you're going with French Fizz to save your mortgage.
I'd love to see Periscope win. I think he can place. Would not surprise me one bit if he won. Got to get a run first, but
If he gets a
if
run, he
French
gets-
Fizz is going to win another race,
It'll be Monday.
we'll be going to non-tabs after this.
No, we won't. No, we won't.
So there. It's,
Who's your mortgage saver? French Fizz.
Jeez, I hate to say it, but yeah. Well, I can't unless I say crack the code the place. But
Whatever you pick,
I'm
you
saying.
know you're going to get abused by the owners.
Yeah, I know. Well, Beck's in French Fizz, so I'm covered anyway. French Fizz to win, and Periscope each way.
Each way now. Well, it's only win or place.
Well, I can only have one win bet.
Yeah, so you got French Fizz to win, Periscope
Alright,
to place.
Perico's the place. And I know what'll happen the other way around.
Well, I'm going, if Periscope gets a run, he's my mortgage saver. And I'll go the place bet Rotor.
I'm trying to save the odds. You're knocking them off.
No, I'm going Periscope to win, Rotor to place.
Rebecca's just made a comment.
Who's Rebecca?
My Beck.
Oh.
We have enough children, thank you.
Oh.
So you got to watch what you say when you're on here. We're live, Darren. No edits.
Why isn't she at work?
That's why
Get to work, Beck. Do something.
That's why I work 4
She
jobs.
shouldn't be sitting here watching.
That's why I work 4 jobs.
She shouldn't be watching Facebook. She should be. Didn't
Yeah.
you say she had washing to do or
Yeah,
something?
I'll put a big pile out on the floor. Add the dishes. Add the vacuuming.
So what did I say? Periscope to win, Rotor to place.
So, yeah.
I'll go with that.
Righto. Well, we're right. There's 3 winners there. 3 winners.
We haven't been very right
No,
since August, have
one
we?
out of 20. Actually, speaking of that, Darren, I've been doing a little bit of cutting and pasting at home. I've been getting some vision of all our winners for the 46 we had last year. And at the end of this, not for the live viewers, but for the recorded version, we'll have our winners from August last year. How many do you reckon we had last year?
In August? We had a good start. I reckon we had 6.
8.
Did we?
How many have we had this year?
1.
We've got 1 day left tomorrow.
Is that? Oh,
Yeah,
right.
so we're a little bit by the 8 ball. We're coming off about
I'll tell
6
you.
deep.
I'll tell you right now. We'll have less starters this year.
Yeah, well, already we're about 15 less than last year.
We
so-
will have less starters. That's by design.
Yep.
We will have less runners. We'll have less horses.
Yep.
But we just want to increase the quality, and we don't want to be racing these horses not going to pay their way, Pete. So we need to be all over that. But yeah, I'm sure our running total this year will be down by 10%. Mind you, we do have a big team of yearlings. A lot of Dandinos in that crew, and they could be another year away.
Well, you've got Crackerjack Kings and Dandinos.
Yeah,
that's
so there's
right.
probably 8 of them that probably might have 1 or 2 starts for the season. And yeah, they're only just 2 now.
Well, a lot of them are only going to be even thinking autumn, if at all. You
Well,
know,
they're probably going to be this time next year,
Yeah.
you'd think. But yeah, I think we will have less. Obviously, we only bought 2 yearlings from the sales this year
Yeah.
because it was getting out of control, Pete.
Well, yeah, and I suppose
What did we have last year? How many runners? 340 or something?
360 for 46 winners. Or
So
something.
more than 1 runner a day.
Yeah, yeah. So
No.
when you think of it that way, I mean,
I'd like to get back to about 300 starters a year
Yep.
and about 50 winners off that.
we only got 5 runners next week. What are you up to?
Well, you know, if you're going to all 5 meetings, well, I'm
3 of them are on Saturday.
I'm pretty much grounded, Pete.
Mares, foals.
Foaling, we've now got 4 foals on the ground. So we've got a Vancouver filly out of Savaboat.
Yep.
We've got a Keaton Mafeed filly out of a Star Spangled Banner mare.
Savabow filly.
Yeah, that was the Savaboat Vancouver. Burn Indy Burn had a belting American Pharaoh colt.
Yep.
The Vancouver out of Savaboat is a beautiful filly. And then night before, we had a She's Our Star, which you might remember Tony Golan
right.
trained for us, and she won a 2-year-old race and was stakes placed. She had a beautiful Hellbent colt, and yeah, first of the Hellbents, so really nice bay colt, good size foal for the mare.
Yep.
So really happy with that. So after this, Pete, I've got to drive 3 hours to Murchison because we need some more colostrum, because with these maiden mares, She's Our Star's a maiden, Tennessee Goals in the foaling paddock, Wanna Divas in the foaling paddock, they're all first timers. Often they don't have enough colostrum for the foal, so just got to shoot up to Murchison and back today to make sure I've got enough colostrum for these next 3 maidens.
Yep.
And then when the older mares start foaling, they're fine, but we'll be able to save some colostrum off them for the others. But yeah, it's busy with the foaling, so normally they foal but anywhere between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. So, you know, we're on full alert, can't go too far. Got 22 more to foal here. Got half a dozen up in Europe.
Maternity ward will be full soon.
Yeah, well, it's busy, so, you know.
Love them in their little jackets.
Yeah, they take a bit of care. You just got to watch them because the vets come out and take a blood when they're 24 hours old, Pete.
Yep.
And we send that to the lab, and that tells us whether they've got enough colostrum to get the antibodies levels to the right level.
Yep.
So the benchmark's 800 parts. So 800 parts. So the Savabow foal tested at 2300.
Righto.
And the American Pharaoh tested at 1900. It might be the other way around,
Yep.
but well over. So those mares are producing good colostrum. Today we'll find out about the Hellbent,
Yep.
where it's at. That sort of means that then they've got enough antibodies in their blood to stave off any infections
Righto.
they might get. So
Yep.
it's and also then you can insure them based off that.
It's a very technical process, say, to 20 years ago, I can imagine.
Oh, mate, I think in the old days they just let them foal and they
Yeah.
either lived or they didn't. But,
Yeah.
you know, we're all over them now. They've got rugs on. If they're not drinking enough, we're bottle feeding them. And
I can
you know.
imagine a day like today, they'd love to be getting out in the sun.
So, if foaling's not onerous enough, from next week we'll be starting to walk the mares onto the stands. 4 have already gone up to the Hunter Valley.
Yep.
To be covered up there. So covering starts on Monday, is it Monday? Sunday the 1st. And, you know, we're looking at, you know, some of the local mares that have already foaled. There could be 1 or 2 of them up for cover next week, and including Top Classic. So I'll be doing the run-ons. So often, sometimes that's 3 hours each way, and sometimes you have to hang around for an hour and a half to wait your turn to get covered. So, you know, it's pretty full on. So you'll be doing a lot of racing, Pete, over the next 2 months. And I'll get there when I can, but if we've got mares to cover, that's my job.
Yeah, well, it's an important part of the year because it's our next slot coming through, whether they're racing or through the commercial part of it.
Yep.
It's all little legs on the ground.
It's very busy.
Copped another spray from Beck. Put the moz on French Fizz. She can't win.
At least there's one person watching.
A few there.
Now, Pete, last week your comments around syndicate managers got a bit of feedback.
Yeah, did. Yeah, anyway, I just was put out there generally, not particularly or pointed.
A couple took offence to it, but that's okay. I mean, at the end of the day, syndicate managers are a bit like ourselves. It's a thankless job. They bring people into racing that otherwise wouldn't get involved in racing.
Yeah.
And, you know, they've got to collect the money, they've got to pay the bills, they've got to pay out the prize money. So, you know, it is an important job. What I want to say is most of them do a really, really good job. There's just a couple that maybe have let their syndicate teams down. And I don't know if they all realise that if the syndicate managers don't pass on the information to their syndicate members, then they're in the dark, because we don't actually know who the syndicate members are generally or what their emails are. So, you know, the trainers send it to the syndicate manager, we tend to send it to the syndicate managers, and then some of the owners maybe don't get the information first up or not. That's sometimes an issue. But I would say overall, where would you score them at? 80%?
Oh, probably higher. You know, it's just, and I think if asked, we'll put the syndicate members on our comms, and we're happy to do that.
Yeah, but the
trainers won't. They'll
No.
just go to the manager, and you know, we're finding we're getting some ringing the trainers direct, and you know, which is not good from that point of view.
No.
Most trainers won't mind.
Yeah.
But if it's a manager, it's probably more beneficial because it can get passed back. But you just got to pass the info out. It takes one push of a button, and
it's
you know,
tough.
look, nothing was directed. It was just a general, mainly just to say, well, you know, whether it's 5 or 10, you got a responsibility, and that was the the name.
But I think generally they do a good job.
Yep.
I think ticketing is always an issue with these syndicates because there's never enough tickets.
Yeah.
And as we get into spring, that's going to be a bigger issue. So, because obviously the spring carnival, the tickets are limited to the races. So, if you got 1% in a horse, you wouldn't normally expect you get a ticket into a manning yard.
No.
And you may not always get a members ticket. So, typically on normal days, there'll be 40 members tickets.
Yeah.
And there'll be generally 20 manning yard.
Yeah.
So, you know, if there's 40 in a horse, we've got a problem straight away. And Liz does her best to accommodate people by asking them to submit their requirements on the main days.
Yeah.
And then obviously cup week's really, really hard because...
Well, from this time forward, it gets harder.
So it gets messy.
And look,
and sometimes the race day officers don't help.
No.
So going forward, I understand with the metro clubs, I'm not sure when this is getting implemented, Peter, but when your horse accepts, every owner will be automatically emailed members and manning yard tickets.
Oh, righto.
And you'll be able to scan them. So you won't have to go to the race day
Right,
office.
I'm with you, yeah.
So you'll be emailed tickets.
Well, that's going to be interesting.
So that saves 5%, 10% owners going to the office.
So is that after we work out who is eligible to go?
No, just as per race book.
So have you got 100 owners?
Yep, it'll go to the syndicate manager.
Right, I'm with you, yeah.
Yep, and they'll get their standard issue of 2 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then the procedure will be you won't have to line up to get your tickets. You won't have to get involved in those sort of discussions.
Well, that's...
Now, the syndicate managers will then get those 2 or 3 tickets that they're allocated, and then the procedure will be half an hour before the race, they will have to go back to the race day office, which there'll be only syndicate managers there to pick up any spares to look after their clients. So that's the way it's going to work. So it's going to solve probably 90% of the situation, because there's nothing worse than getting to the track, having to go to that office just to get in the track, and then go to the race day office and have an argument. It kind of takes the fun out of it before you get there.
Especially that part of the day from the 1st to the 5th, because everyone's there.
Yeah, so I think this is a great initiative. I don't think it'll be out for the spring, but I think it'll be out for next year.
And from the syndicate managers, obviously you have a rotation basis amongst your group.
Well, they know how they want to manage it, so it's up to them.
And then you can get the allocate, or the... Sorry, you can get the leftover allocation if you go there half an hour before the race. We've done that before and ended up with 8 or 10 tickets.
Oh, look, if the syndicate managers go half an hour before the jump...
Because you've got Godolphin and all them running, they take none.
Look, most of them are really good in those offices, particularly Glenice. Those girls do a pretty good job, look after us pretty well, and they all know that people want to get into the races and they want to get in the mounting yard, but OH&S makes it a bit difficult.
Yeah, that's it. So, I suppose the backwash, for the ones that took offence, they're probably at the top of a chart as far as syndicate managers for us, or syndicate people.
I think most of them do a pretty good job. I mean, I'm not going to name them individually, but I think most of them do a good job. Some might just be away or that might just slip through the net, but we just wanted to say before the spring, just a nice little message. But I think going forward, it's going to be easier with this online. Because I assume all the syndicate members are going to get a ticket just to get access into the track. So, and then I assume the managers will get the members ticket if there's members, and then they'll get the mounting yards to allocate. But we'll keep you abreast of those changes as they come through. It'll be just like a movie ticket, really.
It will certainly help.
And if you're not going, you just email it off to someone in your syndicate if you're not going. So, someone like, I don't know, I suppose John Marnie, who lives in New South Wales, wouldn't be going to every meeting, so he would just email them on to someone that is going.
Makes sense.
Anyway, is that it?
Well, I haven't got much more, apart from the fact at the end of I told you we'll have our August winners. It'll be the last 200 of our last stake winners. You remember any of those winners back in August? We had actually multiples. We had 2 or 3 horses win multiple races.
Did we? In August?
One started with A.
A.
No longer with us.
Really?
By Wanted. Little filly.
Astrological.
Yeah, she won a couple. Warwick DeVille and Cranbourne.
Yep.
Another one, initials, Double P.
Double P.
Had a bit of foot abscess problems.
Penthouse Playboy.
One at Maui and Bendigo.
Yep.
We also, another one that, not an ATB horse as such with colours, but with Robbie Griffiths that you and a couple others got shares in.
Oh, yeah.
Robe de Fate.
Yep.
One at Sandown and Pakenham.
He must be nearly back in that horse.
Yep, and there's 2 others, which have, a couple of women's racing horses that went bang bang when Weary had them.
Condover Hall and Lady Mackie.
Yep. At Cranbourne and Sandown.
So obviously Condover Hall's been sold.
Yep.
Lady Mackie's just
having
having a short break for the summer.
This is the ground we want her on when she comes back.
Exactly. Few messages about Robbie Griffiths. My information is as per the stable, just to say he's recovering well as expected. He's actually home now, Pete.
Yep.
So they're just trying to keep him off the worksheets and keep him off the phone.
Hard job. They're going to tie his hands together.
Could you imagine going from working 80 hours flat out, thinking about the business, being in control, juggling everything, talking to a million owners, to being told to do nothing?
There was only one other person. Well, they were in similar situations, but it was forced. Yeah, no.
So it would be difficult.
Would be.
So Robbie, if you are watching, best wishes from us and all our clients. There's been a lot of messages come through, and we trust you are on the mend. I think he watches this because he normally gets a bake, but we've been really kind to him this month.
He's got plenty of time on his hands, so yeah, good. Best wishes, Rob. 2 weeks since the op tomorrow, and another 6 weeks on your bum, and then you can come back and start blurting orders.
Well, he actually had a winner yesterday at Warrnambool.
Yeah.
So I must say, you should be proud of your team, Robbie. They've done a great job.
Absolutely, yeah.
Reed and Beth and Sarah and Jade.
Yeah, better lift in the updates, actually.
Yeah, I think they've actually surpassed the standard that Robbie was preparing.
A bit more colourful. And
what I've really enjoyed is Reed's updates the night after they raced to say the horses got home and pulled up well. And, it's got its head. And, well, obviously, Robbie only, didn't bother. Because he's got an esky in his car and he probably had a few beers.
Put the remote down, Rob. Don't throw it.
Anyway, we remember you, Robbie. We know who you are.
I think it's a sign of a good coach that's got his team well drilled, and they've done a terrific job. And
they're doing their best.
Respectful, to the boss and their job, and they love what they do, and it shows.
Well, they're trying to.
And the winners are still coming. Although the winners are coming, should I say?
I think they all say the same thing.
Good luck with his really good mare tomorrow, Fidelio.
Not too good a luck.
Oh, well, good luck. Just good luck.
Hope it runs a nice fifth.
Just good luck.
Behind Crack the Code.
Well, fourth, beaten in a photo. Third.
Ooh, that'd be good. So Shay Eden, congratulations, the first winner for ATB.
50% strike rate, Darren.
2 starts, 1 win. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to Murchison, Pete. You can stand there and keep talking.
Well, I've got nothing more to talk about. I'm going to touch on it. It's sad, but we lost a racing identity this morning. A young jockey lost her life, and I think, without saying too much...
Known to you?
I do know the husband really well, from down my way, and she's only 22, and...
Tough game, isn't it?
Still sort of trying to contemplate it all in my head at the moment, and look, it just shows you the game that... we can be critical at times, but geez, I think we've always said it, that, dangerous game, and you just don't know what's around the corner. So just full respects to the family and to...
shocking. It always just, when everything's going along nicely, and then you get that sort of news, it really does make you sit up and take notice.
It does.
This sport, as they call it, is full of danger.
Absolutely. So we'll leave it on that sombre note, and we'll catch you all next week.
Good luck to your runners on the weekend. I'm Darren Dance with Peter Morganti, standing in the sun.
Robe de Fate strikes the front. Gorican Express getting out, but it's Robe de Fate shooting away from Billabong Bilby, and it's going to be Robe de Fate. Too good for them. The little Schwarzschild went home and won it by 2 lengths.
Here's Penthouse Playboy coming strongly down the centre of the track. Could today be his day? Penthouse Playboy goes to cash sale. Brew Boss several lengths away, battling with My Sophia. It's Penthouse Playboy taking the lead and now extending away for Jackson, and it will score and do it well in the end from cash sale by 2 lengths.
Cards, and here's the favourite, Astrological, getting to the right place. She's going for 2 in a row. Allen's going for 3, and Astrological took a narrow lead. She's going to get another win on the board. Races away to beat Deck of Cards by 2. The other guy battled into
the back. Pepino Condover Hall took the front, approaching the 200 metres and kicks away. About 2 lengths in front of Invention, Villa Fortuna and McClary down the outside, but Condover Hall looking to break through, and it will. Condover Hall comes clear to score by 2 lengths. Second to head bobber.
Penthouse Playboy getting the run in the middle. Wider out on the track, Mighty Quinn. Then Mooton, who's wider still, followed by Oh Baby and Sudden Moment. Shangani Patrol from Penthouse Playboy. Then Racty Roulette and Mooton. Front runner though, Penthouse Playboy's going after Shangani Patrol now. Penthouse Playboy the outside. I don't know. This is very close between Shangani Patrol and Penthouse Playboy. Racty Roulette ran 3rd, Mooton 4th from Oh Baby. Next over would have been Super Rockstar with Rusaton, followed by Sudden Moment. Mighty Quinn did absolutely nothing today. He dropped out of the race from Ventura Highway, Brianna, and Diamond Geezer was last all of the...
Danny Boy and Lady Macby 4 wide. Meow behind those, looking for Galloping Room, Sizzle Me. Williams will have to come to the outside. He's brought it out deep to start a run. Plenty of chances in the straight. Lady Macby strikes the front. Sizzle Me's in deep water. Welsh Guard, Black Bliss getting through. 1-8 Rocky on the outside. Lady Macby the front runner. 1 for Rocky on the outside, running on with Black Bliss, but it's Lady Macby in front and she'll... Maya Line, Just Simmer from La Tigeressa. Uptown Gal getting a split and Astrological running on. Astrological going after Just Simmer and Uptown Gal. Astrological takes the lead and it's 3 on the trot. Won it by a length and a half.
Rock taking it up with Robe de Fay. They speed away from Magnus Seaver, Aesthetic and Eldorama down the middle of the track. It's Master Rock under Hands and Hills at the 200. Robe de Fay's giving him a race though. And then Eldorama down the outside. Robe de Fay gets its nose in front of Master Rock at the 100. Zaydin's running on with Eldorama. But as they go to the line, Robe de Fay's in front and Robe de Fay 3/4 to